the proportionate voice of the South Indian states will get diluted if there is a 50% rise in the number of seats. My question is, today, the share of the South Indian states in the overall scheme is 23.7%. It will continue to be 23.7%. How will the voice of the South get diluted? Second, the majority margin, the halfway mark today is at 272. If there is going to be a 50% increase in the total number of seats, naturally the halfway mark also will jump by 50%. So this whole argument that the southern states is going to lose because of the proportionate 50% increase, I will say, is not only a vacuous argument, it is an illogical argument, it is not only an unconstitutional argument, but most importantly, Speaker Sir, this is a mischievous argument that comes from creating anarchy in this country by misleading the people. Speaker Sir, now I would want to take a few minutes of the time allotted to me to examine the alternatives that the Congress party and the opposition has proposed. Now, there are broadly three alternatives that the Congress has proposed. The first alternative is, don't increase the 543 number of seats. Let the delimitation exercise or the Nari Shakti Adhiniyam come into existence, come into force on the 543 seats. I have already explained that one, it is constitutionally impermissible because Article 81, 82 demands the value of one vote, one value. Second, if we were to redistribute 543 seats based on 2027 census or 2011 census, the proportion of the seats that the southern states today have is going to further get reduced. Therefore, this first argument, the argument of postponing of delimitation exercise or the argument to freeze the number of seats as per 1971 absolutely holds no constitutional value and therefore must be rejected. Second, the argument that the opposition is making, the Chief Minister of Telangana has made, is to propose a very interesting hybrid model of linking the population of the state along with the GSDP, the state's per capita contribution and the state's gross development of the state. Now this argument, I don't know, Speaker Sir, who has advised the Chief Minister of Telangana. Either I can only say that they don't wish him well, because this proposal is laughable at the best and impractical at the worst. Let me explain why. First, if you will say that the vote of a common citizen in Telangana has more value than the vote of a common voter in Bihar, then you are defeating the constitutional principle of one value, one vote. आप किसके आधार पर देश में ये डिलिमिटेशन और एक्सरसाइज करना चाहते हैं? जो अमीर है क्या उनके लिए ज्यादा वोट होगा? जो गरीब है क्या उनका वोट नहीं है? उसके लिए वैल्यू नहीं है? ये किस प्रकार के आर्गुमेंट है? अध्यक्ष जी, if you will take this argument further forward, Mukesh Ambani will have 1 lakh vote and somebody like us will have only 1 vote. Is this the kind of logic that the Congress wants to build? Speaker Sir, this argument by this alternative by Telangana Chief Minister of linking delimitation and number of seats to the GSDP of the state is the most foolish argument anybody can prosper. This is unconstitutional. This defeats the value of one man, one vote, one value that the Constitution promises. Second, Speaker Sir, there is another very important dimension to this. GSD, देश के GDP हो या प्रदेश के GDP हो, ये 10 साल, 15 साल वो stagnant नहीं रहता है. It is not going to remain constant. Every 6 months, GDP can go up, GDP can come down. 1 year GDP will be high, another year GDP will be low. Now suppose you are going to link delimitation and number of seats with the GSDP of a state. Will Telangana's and other states number of seats keep getting fluctuated. Today, this year was a good monsoon, GDP was good, so Telangana will have 2 extra seats. Next year, Tamil Nadu had bad rainfall, therefore GDP fell down, so Tamil Nadu will lose 2 seats. Is this the argument? These are the kind of laughable alternatives that the Congress party is proposing, and on the basis of this, they are misleading the people of this country. Now, the second alternative that they have proposed, the third alternative. The first is not do anything. The second is, which they are experts at. क्योंकि जब आप कांग्रेस पार्टी के पॉलिटिक्स को देखते आते हैं, they are the practitioners of politics of postponement. हर चीज जो देश के सामने बड़ा मुद्दा आता है, आ जाता है, when they cannot address it, what do? Postpone कर दो उसको. That is their first reaction. Their first proposal is postpone it, कुछ मत करो, इसको freeze करो, which is unconstitutional. Second, the Telangana CM's proposal linking GSDP to number of seats, which again, like I demonstrated, Speaker Sir, is the most ludicrous argument. Third argument that they have given, that I read Honorable member, learned friend Shashi Tharoor ji has made. He has said that there should be a digressive proportionality model as per the European Union Parliament. Now, while this, true to Shashi ji's nature, sounds very sophisticated, actually it does not make sense in the Indian context. Because the moment you are going to introduce this principle of digressive proportionality, it once again violates the principle of one man, one vote, one value. Second, larger states in the south of India, like Tamil Nadu, like Karnataka, which are today the 6th most populous state, 8th most populous state in the country, are going to again get a raw deal because of this digressive proportionality argument. Therefore, my submission, Speaker Sir, other than this 50% equal proportionate increase to all states alternative that Narendra Modi ji has proposed, there is no alternative that serves everybody, that is gain for everybody and no loss for everybody. Therefore, the country as a whole, and especially the opposition, must welcome this with all responsibility. Speaker Sir, the other argument that has come in criticism of this 800 plus seat increase is that if you increase this number of seats of the Lok Sabha to 800 plus seats, then it will become an unwieldy Lok Sabha. That the Lok Sabha will be so big that you will not have healthy debates, healthy discussions. ये बहुत बड़ा ये unwieldy हो जाएगा. This is the argument that Manish Tiwari ji has advanced. Now I want to ask myself, Speaker Sir, the productivity or the quality of outcome of a Lok Sabha or the body like this depends not just on the number of people, but on the quality of the debates that take place, the number of sittings that we do. In 1952, when for the first time the first parliament after the general election convened, Lok Sabha Speaker Sir would sit on an average of 135 days in a year. In the last few years, the average sittings of Lok Sabha has gradually come down. And last term it has come only to 55 days. Why? Because of the politics of disturbance and disruption that the opposition is doing. इसलिए the productivity कम हो रहा है. My request to you, Speaker Sir, this is something that you can do in your own remit as the Honorable Speaker. Speaker Sir, I'll conclude in 5 minutes, completing just 2 important points. Speaker Sir, when we have now increased the size of the Lok Sabha to 850, we should also proportionately increase the number of sittings of the Lok Sabha to be at least 1/2 times more than what we are now doing. Speaker Sir, you have started a great tradition by increasing the number of hours allocated to 0 hour. Many first-time speakers, first-time MPs, who till now had got no chance to speak in Parliament, they got a chance to speak because you gave more time. My request to you, Speaker Sir, is when the Parliament is going to become a 850 member body, instead of around 55 number of sittings that we do per year, if the Loksabha were to sit for 125 seats, or like in the case of the Japanese diet, if we were to sit for 150 days, then every single member representing every single constituency will get more than enough time to place on the floor of the House the problems of the constituents. This is something that needs to be done. Speaker, sir, now I will also want to explain, Speaker, sir, why this whole attention that the opposition parties and a few regional parties in the south, led by the DMK, why are they doing so much noise? And why the tears that they are shedding is nothing but crocodile tears? Yes. Speaker, sir, I thank heavens that in 2026, when the country is doing delimitation, Narendra Modi ji is in power and Bharatiya Janata Party-led government will do the delimitation. Because if you remember, the way the Congress party, the UPA, divided the two undivided Andhra Pradesh into AP and Telangana, it was done in the partition of AP and Telangana was done in a worse fashion than the British did the partition of India and Pakistan. This is the kind of legacy they have, Adhyakshi. Adhyakshi, I want to conclude by bringing to your notice only one important aspect. In the last 10 years of the Narendra Modi government, the south of India has enjoyed great support, encouragement for the developmental ambitions of the south. Speaker, sir, on a conservative estimate, if you compare the devolution of funds from the center to the South Indian states in the last 10 years and contrast it to the 10 years of the UPA, on an average, every single South Indian state has got not less than 250% more funds by the Narendra Modi government. The Narendra Modi government has also increased the budget for railway lines. The number of railway electrification that has taken place in the last 10 years under the Modi government in the southern states is unprecedented. Budget पे नहीं है, मैं आपको ये इतना प्यार आ रहा है ना आप लोगों को, समाजवादियों को दक्षिण भारत के बारे में, इसलिए मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ जी, इसलिए मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ। सर, रेलवे बजट की बात देखिए आप, आंध्र प्रदेश में 2009 एंड 2014 के बीच में, स्पीकर सर, 886 crores was what they got. Narendra Modi government has given 10,000 crores. This is just one incident. Number of metros to the southern states has increased. Electrification has increased. Number of rails has increased. Number of airports has increased. The total devolution of funds to the South Indian states has increased. Most importantly, Speaker sir, we have not only given the southern states more money, more rail, more infrastructure, but most importantly, for the first time in the country's history, more than 25 national institutions today allow for regional language examination. If I want to apply for CRPF, I can do it in writing examination in Kannada, in Telugu, which was not the case when the Congress party was ruling. We have respected language, we have provided more development, and today Narendra Modi is also providing more seats and more proportion allotment to the southern Indian states by protecting the South's voice in the total parliament, the floor of the House. Speaker sir, I want to conclude by one last point that needs to be addressed. Speaker sir, the argument that has been repeatedly made is that the argument that is repeatedly made is that the Narendra Modi government is bringing in this proposal to somehow create a disadvantage for the southern Indian states. Nothing at all, Speaker sir, can be farther more than truth than this particular assertion. Speaker sir, I want to say that we come from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Bharatiya Janata Party sanskar, our culture, is not to see this nation as tukde tukde. The culture of this party is not to side with those who chant the slogan of Bharat ke tukde honge inshallah, inshallah. This is not the culture of the Bharatiya Janata Party. The culture of the Bharatiya Janata Party is, the culture of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Speaker sir, is, the culture of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Speaker sir, is Himalayat samarabhya yavat Indu sarovaram tam deva nirmitam desham Hindustanam prachakshate. जो देश ऊपर हिमालय से नीचे भारत के इंदु सरोवर तक है, वो पूरा देश जो अखंड है, अविच्छिन्न है, वो भारत है. दिस इज द कमिटमेंट ऑफ भारतीय जनता पार्टी. वो कन्याकुमारी हो, वो कश्मीर हो, वो कच्छ हो या कामाख्या हो, वी विल सपोर्ट फॉर द इंटीग्रिटी, sovereignty, unity of this country, because that is not only a constitutional mandate, but most importantly, the Bharatiya Janata Party's Karyakarta believes that it is our civilizational duty to protect this country. This is what differentiates us from the parties like the Congress that sides with tukde parties, and like the DMK which speaks the language of separatism. We abhor your politics, we reject your politics. In conclusion, I want to say, if the UPA and the opposition today, Speaker sir, is going to vote against these most practical, most constitutional, most inclusive proposition, then for years to come, the history of the country will remember the opposition and all of you sitting here as not only opposition to the women of the country, but also to the interests of the southern Indian states of the country. I want to emphatically say again, if you will reject this, if you will vote against this, the people of this country, the women of this country will never forgive you. The people in the south of India will never forgive you, because your politics is not a politics of inclusion, your politics is a politics of anarchy. I really hope that you will honestly examine the merit of this proposition and also honestly examine the hollowness of your own arguments and finally vote in support of this historic bill. I once again thank Prime Minister Narendra Modi for not only giving voice finally after 40 years to the women of this country, but most importantly for protecting the interests of all southern states and all important small states of the country. Thank you, Prime Minister sir. Thank you for what you have offered to the south. This is the best deal ever possible. Thank you, Speaker sir.